Let's talk about a fundamental misunderstanding. Most people operate under the illusion that attraction is a simple equation. Good looks, a fat wallet, loud confidence, but that's just the surface noise. In reality, true seduction, the kind that builds lasting influence and desire, operates on a completely different frequency. It's not about you or what you're projecting, it's about them and what you awaken within them. As Robert Greene reveals, people are not ultimately attracted to strength itself. They're attracted to how your presence makes them feel about themselves. Seduction, then, is not about creating desire by force. It is the subtle art of quietly awakening emotions people didn't even realize were sleeping inside them. And once you grasp this principle, the entire theater of human behavior starts to look very, very different. Think of seduction as power, but not a loud, aggressive power. It is a subtle power, the kind that flows without friction and meets no resistance. The most genuinely seductive people in any room are rarely the loudest or the most obvious. They're the calmest, the most observant, the most patient. They listen far more than they speak. They create an aura of mystery, not a cloud of pressure. They understand that influence, to be effective, must feel natural, even inevitable, never forced or demanded. This journey begins with a critical insight. People are emotionally incomplete. Every single person you meet is carrying a unique set of insecurities, unmet longings, and hidden fantasies. The master seducer doesn't waste energy trying to impress everyone with a generic show. They become a student of the individual. They pay exquisite attention. They notice what's missing: a need for validation, a thirst for excitement, a longing for safety, a craving for undivided attention. And then, with grace and subtlety, they position themselves as the unspoken answer. They don't declare it, they simply become it. One of the most powerful tools in this art is the strategic withdrawal. When you refuse to chase, you create curiosity. When you don't over-explain every detail of yourself, you create mystery. The human mind has a deep intolerance for uncertainty, so when someone feels just slightly unsure of where they stand with you, their focus automatically intensifies. In this space, silence becomes louder than words. A thoughtful absence becomes more attractive than a constant, needy presence. You are not playing hard to get, you are being someone who is genuinely fulfilled and intriguing. This leads to the concept of role-playing. The most effective seducers rarely lead with their raw, unfiltered selves. Instead, they present a refined version, a persona that perfectly mirrors the emotional needs of their target. To a person stifled by boredom, they bring a spark of adventure and unpredictability. To someone riddled with self-doubt, they offer a mirror that reflects assurance and worth. To an individual accustomed to power and deference, they provide a subtle, intriguing challenge. Seduction is fluid. It adapts. It is a dance, not a march. A fatal error is to be too available too quickly. When you give everything, your time, your attention, your stories, your affection immediately, you extinguish the very spark you're trying to ignite. There is no tension, no anticipation, no space for imagination to work. Desire, true desire, grows in stages. Seduction is inherently slow. It builds emotional momentum step by step. The more someone invests their thoughts, their curiosity, their emotional energy into you, the harder it becomes for them to simply walk away. You become a project of their own mind. Here is a potent, sometimes uncomfortable truth. People have a deep-seated desire to be led. They yearn to feel chosen, understood, truly seen for who they are or who they wish to be. Seduction works its magic because it makes people feel singularly special, not through cheap, flattering words, but through the rarest currency of all,
focused, profound attention. In a world of constant distraction, undivided attention is a superpower, and whatever is rare becomes inherently valuable.
Of course, the path is littered with pitfalls, what Greene calls anti-seductive behaviors. Neediness, desperation, over-explaining yourself, trying too hard to prove your worth. These are attraction's kryptonite. They signal a lack of inner strength and a deficit of self-control. True seduction requires immense emotional discipline. It is the ability to step back gracefully when every instinct screams to lean in. It is the power to hold your silence. It's crucial to understand that this dynamic is not confined to romance. It is the invisible fabric of influence in business, in politics, in friendship, and in leadership. The world's most influential people are masters of creating emotional buy-in. They don't push their ideas aggressively. They skillfully make others feel as if the idea was their own brilliant discovery. They allow people, in a sense, to seduce themselves. All of this hinges on one master virtue: patience. Seduction is the ultimate long game. Rushing is the death of genuine desire. Timing will always matter more than sheer effort. The true seducer is a hunter of emotional openings, moments of vulnerability, boredom, or aspiration, and patiently waits for them rather than trying to batter down the door with pressure. When people feel psychologically safe and intrigued, desire grows naturally from the inside out. At its core, seduction is about control, but not the crude control of domination. It is about the gentle, subtle guidance of emotions without ever applying visible force. This is precisely why it's so potent. People don't resist it. They welcome it. They are complicit in their own captivation. Robert Greene ends with a vital warning. Seduction is a double-edged sword. Used unconsciously as a blunt instrument, it becomes manipulation. It erodes trust and leaves damage in its wake. But used with awareness, empathy, and respect, it transforms into something else entirely: compelling influence, authentic charisma, and profound emotional intelligence. The real power isn't in using these principles, it's in understanding them. Once you understand how the machinery of desire truly works, you cease to be a pawn controlled by it. You start to recognize the patterns in the world around you. You see through the emotional games. And that awareness alone, the ability to see the strings, grants you a power that is quiet, enduring, and entirely your own. If this glimpse into the subtle mechanics of influence has shifted your perspective, do let us know. Hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow and bring more content like this. Subscribe for more deep, psychology-driven explorations of the hidden forces that shape our lives. And in the comments below, we'd love to hear your take. What one behavior do you believe makes someone instantly more attractive?